Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go.
All right, so this is episode 3. This is the Disclaimer Podcast. Tonight we have on Sheri, Griego. We got it right. So, yeah, I'm really excited to have you on, and I'm glad that you were able to, come in here and take time to, have the podcast with me. So thank you for coming in and everything.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so basically we're going to run over some of the things. I want to touch on how you kind of got started in real estate is kind of what I want to start with. And the first kind of question that I have is that you own your own practice. When did you start it? How did you start it? And I don't know, it seems like you've created such a cool little work environment. So maybe dip into that too.
Okay, so I started my own office in 2011.
Okay.
I've been licensed since 2005.
Okay.
When you first get licensed, you have to work under
Yeah.
other brokers. I had, and I didn't like the fact that I was paying a broker to then come back to me and ask me questions of how they were doing transactions.
Right.
So I was like, well, I can do this myself. So.
Yeah.
I went out on my own in 2011, and I swore that I was not going to have any drama in my office.
Yeah.
Typically, women work together. There's oftentimes drama.
Yeah.
But,
That is true.
I mean, it's hard.
Yeah.
I try to stay away from the drama. The business is hard enough without adding drama in the office. So my previous office was a little dramatic. There was a lot of people, so obviously drama. So I swore I wouldn't have that in my office. So we've kind of made a little niche of, we're kind of a family.
Yeah.
Everybody that's in there is no drama. I have myself and 3 other agents.
Yeah.
And, it's just, we just help each other out. Somebody goes out of town, everybody buckles down and covers their business.
Yeah.
It works out really, really well because then we can still live our lives but not lose any business because we know somebody at the office is going to be able to cover that for us.
Right.
So, yeah, I love that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome because you have the whole work hard, kind of party hard attitude, and I've kind of admired that because there are people that are always business, right? But then there's always some people that can take time off of work, and it's not a big problem.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people get caught up in that because most of the time, if you're just a regular 9-to-5 employee, that's when you run into that situation where, as an employee, you might be taking too much time off,
right.
And your boss doesn't like that or whatever. So it seems like you're pretty good and, lenient with that.
Yes.
And so that's the really cool thing about you.
The whole thing is we all work for ourselves.
Yeah.
We're all in my office, but we all work for ourselves.
Yeah.
And so if somebody wants to take off and go do whatever, they're like, all right, hey, I'm going here, and here's when I'm going to be gone. And I'm like, cool, I got you. Or, hey, here's when I'm going to be gone. Are you guys going to be in town? Cool, because I'm going to need some help.
Right.
So, we work hard to play hard.
Yeah.
You can't take it with you when you die. So, you got to,
That is true.
And you only get so much time.
Yeah.
I went to a conference a few years ago, and it really struck me. I was sitting in this conference in Reno, and I've gone to some really cool conferences, all over the nation. But I was sitting in this conference in Reno, and this guy, the keynote speaker, was talking about work-life balance. Mm-hmm. And so for a very long time, I didn't have work-life balance. It was just work. My kids were still in school, just work and play some, but mostly work.
Did you think that you needed that, though, to get started?
Yeah, but when I was doing the head down working, it was like mid-career. Like, I had been in the business for probably at least 8 years at that point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in real estate, there's a lot of realtors.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you if you don't answer the phone, somebody else will.
Yeah.
And that was always my mentality.
That is
so, when I heard this guy talking about it, I was like, yeah, work-life balance, I don't know if there's ever a perfect work-life balance, but he said, he goes, the average person only gets 80 summers in their lifetime.
Yeah.
And he said, how are you spending your summers? And I was like, oh my God.
Like, holy shit, that's
different. Yeah, exactly. I was like, holy shit, I have wasted a lot of summers.
Yeah. And
I don't have that many more to waste.
Yeah.
So at that point, it kind of flipped a switch, and I was like, I work very, very hard.
Yeah.
I'm going to play very, very hard.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, not every day is promised, so that's.
Yeah.
That's kind of how you have to at least acknowledge it and live your life by that. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't exactly do that.
It was like a punch in the gut when I heard that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you think, okay, well, the average person lives, X amount of years.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. When you break it down to, summer's my favorite time of year. So when you break it down to summers, and it was like, you have an average of 80 summers in your lifetime, and I was like, oh my God.
That's crazy. I didn't ever think about it like that.
Right? I mean, hell, I'm 50 years old, and I'm like, so I've wasted a lot of summers. We're not even going to be doing that anymore.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I've had a lot of fun in a lot of summers,
you have.
But there have been summers that I have absolutely wasted, where I could have been like, oh no, I have to work and I have to do all this and I have to. I can should myself to death.
Yeah.
I should be doing this, I should be doing that, I should.
Right.
Now I'm like, if I get the opportunity to do something and I have the money to do it, then I do it.
Yeah.
Because like you said, nobody's promised tomorrow.
Yeah. That is true.
So, yeah.
But, okay, so we're going to go back kind of to that. Kind of like with that being said, we've already kind of touched on the topic of relationships and people. And on my last podcast, I kind of referenced, I guess, when you have good relationships with people, usually, the vibe in the workspace is better, right?
Yes.
Kind of with that being said, let's see if I can even, I want to just make sure that I ask the right question here. So I was reading a book, and they said when somebody is confident and passionate, their enthusiasm is contagious. When you hire somebody onto the team, do you look for enthusiasm, or do you look for somebody that is really good at selling themselves, or do you look at people that you might be able to work on if they have the right traits, they also have enthusiasm, they kind of have the stuff to build. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to hiring people, you don't always hire the most talented salesperson, right?
Correct.
You want someone that's like, more personal and workable, and someone that can actually, I guess, correlate with your business plan.
Yeah, you can kind of mold them.
Yeah.
But if they don't have the personality, like if my personality doesn't click with their personality, then it's not going to work in the office. Yeah. And it might not just, it might just be my office. They might work very well in another office. Yeah. But as far as my office goes, I'm like, I am big on somebody's energy. Yeah. And if they got funky energy, I don't want it. Yeah. I don't want any funky energy in my office.
Yeah. So I was also looking at a study is out that goes to show 87% of realtors do not succeed in real estate. So that's a really cool thing that you've actually been doing this since 2005, right? You said?
It'll be 18 years this year.
That's crazy. So do you ever during economic downturns or shaky times, do you ever get, obviously you probably maybe get nervous, but you've been through a lot since 2005, right? Yeah. So do you take on that same problem like an economic downturn, or when buyers don't want to go sell their homes, or when buyers don't want to buy homes? Is it hard for you to get business, or do you try to get business maybe in a different way, or you focus on different things?
You kind of shift. Times? It kind of takes you back to the basics. Yeah. As far as making cold calls, which I hate. Right. I hate making cold calls. Yeah. I'm fortunate enough to have been in the business long enough that I get a lot of referrals.
Right.
I was in leadership in our local association. I was chair of our local association.
Right.
I've been through the whole board of directors, the whole thing. So I know a lot of people in Denver from my time in leadership, as well as kind of like all over the country. I said earlier that I went to conferences.
Yeah.
The whole sole purpose in going to a national conference like that is to meet people so that you get referrals.
Right.
My business is very much referral based.
Yeah.
But yes, the economy being down, it definitely affects. It doesn't matter. I mean, because it's affecting everybody.
Yeah.
Nationally. So, yeah, you just kind of, you switch back, you kind of go back to the basics of use your sphere of influence and really concentrate on your top A customers to hopefully that they'll refer you to somebody else.
Right.
So, and it happens, it works.
Yeah. Do you think like people right now are buying homes more or less because this is going to be their forever home? Just because of like what people are expecting, you know, maybe in 2023 or 2024 economically? Or do you think that this is still like I guess a good time to be able to purchase a house and you wouldn't be, I guess, set back, I guess, in a sense, if you were to purchase a house?
I don't think anybody purchases a home, like, especially their very first home, is their forever home. Rarely does that happen.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, hey, this is what you qualify for right now.
Yeah.
And it might not be what you love, but it's a stepping stone.
Yeah.
Because capital gains allows you right now, capital gains taxes are taxes that you will pay on a home if you don't live in it for at least 2 years. 2 out of 5 is the rule. Okay. Right now. So if you live in a home 2 out of 5 years, any gain that you make on that home, you purchase the home for, let's say, $150,000, which isn't going to get you very much right now. But let's say $150,000, and you turn around 2 years later and you sell it for $300,000. Yeah. That $150,000 is tax free. Correct. If you've lived in it 2 out of 5 years. Yeah. So I always tell people, especially with their first homes, I always tell them, hey, you've got 150, you're purchasing a home for $150,000. You always plan for the market to go up. Yeah. It doesn't always go up as fast as you would like it sometimes. And sometimes you have to stay in it for longer than 2 years. But at least you're going to stay into it for 2 years. And then you're going to trade up. Right. And then you're going to get another home, and you're going to take the equity from this one and put it into this one. Yeah. And then you'll stay in that one for a couple of years. Yeah. And then you'll trade up again. And then eventually you can be in, let's just say for round numbers, $500,000 home. Right. For a $150,000 mortgage. Yeah. If you work it right. Yeah, exactly. I guess if you're like, a lot of people are just like looking at the now. Yeah. But if you really like take a step back, there's been a lot of times, like even in like 2007, a lot of different downturns that have really, put a dampen on the market, yet people still seem to buy real estate and they still succeed off of it, over long periods of time. Exactly. And I think that's the coolest thing about it is the fact that you can actually invest in real estate, even if it's, whether you're buying apartment complexes or a house, you're always, you still own that asset. Yeah. And you can still have something, if you were to lose everything, you still have the house, if you're at least making your mortgage payment. Right. Right. So. Well, and I mean, there's sometimes that people are like, they're in their house, they have no plans of selling, and they're like, oh my God, I've lost $150,000 equity. Right. No, on paper you might have. Yeah. But you're not selling, so you haven't lost a thing. Yeah. So, in a downturn, you wait until the market comes back, and then if you want to sell, then you sell at that point. Yeah, they're just like, it's like the unrealized losses that they're trying to Exactly. It's like the stock market. Oh my God, I've lost everything. No, you haven't, because unless you sell it. Exactly. If you don't sell it, you didn't lose. So, yeah, exactly. I told my financial planner, I'm like, okay, so I understand real estate, and you understand the stock market. Yeah. I don't understand the stock market, so I'm going to depend on you. Yeah. And you don't understand real estate, so you're going to depend on me. It works well. You tell me when to sell, and I'll tell you when to sell. And they're kind of in tandem is the funny thing. Exactly. Because they work, like, as far as I know, like, if real estate's doing well, that means the stock market's usually doing pretty well. Usually. And, I mean, there is probably certain times and hiccups, but it's funny how, a lot of those assets do go, hand in hand. Depending on where we are, but. And the crazy thing is, like, when the stock market, I remember years ago, I knew somebody that was like, oh my God, I just lost $50,000 in the stock market in a day. Right. Well, I mean, real estate isn't a day by day. Yeah, you're not going to lose $50,000 one day and gain it back another day because unless you're selling.
Right.
And unless again, it's on paper.
Yeah.
So you haven't lost anything.
Yeah.
Unless you actually sell in a downturn.
Right.
But
that is true.
Yeah, it's all relevant, I guess.
It is all relevant. And like I feel like maybe when you're selling stocks, maybe the number's just right in front of your face, like on your phone or whatever. So you're like, oh my gosh. You know what I mean?
I just don't even watch it. I'm just like, oh, I don't need I get my statement, I'm like, shred it.
Yeah. Real estate's like, well, I can't sell my house right now, or I wouldn't want to.
Right.
You know, so I'm just gonna stay here.
Oh yeah, I mean, I could sell my house. I bought my house in 2013.
Yeah.
I could sell it right now and make double what I paid for it.
Right.
But then I gotta buy something.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be double than what it was in 2013.
Yep.
So it just doesn't make sense. So I mean, you just do it. Whatever.
Yeah, relevant.
Yeah.
That is true. So the next kind of thing I wanted to talk about with you is, I don't know, a lot of people get. What's the best way to word this? A lot of people get caught up in comparing themselves with others. Now, I don't know why I feel like this because I'm not a realtor. Do realtors ever get caught up comparing themselves to maybe the success of another realtor? And if so, it seems like that hasn't bothered you specifically ever. But even though it may have, like from the outside, it's not like I can tell. How do you tiptoe around that? And because I mean, it's never good when you're comparing yourself to somebody else, you know what I mean, and maybe their success and how they're doing or whatever. Do you have like any kind of input on that or like?
I'm a very competitive person.
Yeah, you turned it competitive, yeah.
So I do compare myself to others, just really not out loud.
Yeah.
I mean, I have access because I'm a managing broker, so I have access to stats for the whole MLS.
Yeah.
So I'll go in there and I'll target somebody.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, okay, they did this amount. My goal is to be ahead of them by whatever day. So I'll set goals for myself that way. I think it's human nature to compare yourself to other people, especially in your industry, and you're like, oh my gosh, this person's killing it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you don't know what this person is doing, spending, going through, because, I mean, there's a broker in town that kills it.
Yeah.
Compared to anybody else in town, this person is always at the top.
Right.
I'm never going to be there. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But I shift into my competitive nature and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be there, but I'm going to be like right in here.
Yeah, you're going to like find your place in the stepping stool type
because
of thing.
everybody has a different way of selling.
Yeah.
Like everybody has their different niches, their different personalities, their different. I mean, it sometimes it's their different connections.
Yeah.
Like some people are connected to some very rich people in town.
Yeah.
I don't have those connections, so I'm not going to beat myself up over that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I look at my business as, so I have a sign in my office that says, "Enter as strangers, leave as friends." That's exactly how I work my business and have for the last 18 years, and I've made some amazing friends out of this business. Mm-hmm. But I definitely look at, I'm like, oh my gosh, he or she is doing all of this. How are they doing that?
Yeah. I've
been in the top 10 of the MLS before.
Right.
In the downturn. And it is, it's hell at times.
Yeah.
Because you're so busy. Yeah, you're so busy. Like, my kids were little at the time. They were probably middle school, maybe high school at the time.
Yeah.
And I have a picture on the beach, and I have my cell phone in my hand.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now how much was I really engaged with my family?
Yeah. To
make sure that I was getting the business done to be in the top 10 of the MLS.
Yeah, it's like the grass is not always greener on the other side.
Exactly. I'm not willing to do that again.
Yeah, like
the money was great, but
you would rather leave a couple coins on the table and have your family time and enough money to do you and be yourself.
Exactly.
Than to just like have to work your ass off and constantly have to answer phone calls on vacation or whatever you have to do.
Yeah, because what kind of a vacation is it if you're on the phone all the time and your kids are running around going, hey mom, hey mom, and I'm like, hold on, Giuseppe, hold on. Yeah. It's not.
Yeah. No. So back on like the connections thing, was like back in 2005 to let's just say 2007, was social media a big thing for realtors?
No.
And so it was, I'm guessing it was a lot of word of mouth. How is like social media, do you think, how has that changed maybe your, the way you run business now? Do you use it a lot more, or are you able to kind of rely, you said that you were able to now rely on word of mouth now, but back when you're getting started, how did you get started? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I was fortunate. I started as one of the agents in my office, has been a realtor for 40 years. 40 plus now. When I first started, I started as his assistant.
Oh, I see.
So the deal was, I was his assistant, and as soon as I got licensed, we would split everything 50-50. And that was an agreement we made 18 years ago, and he just turned 80 years old, and I'm still doing the same thing. He has an active license, and I'm still working hand in hand with him. Yeah. So I went from his assistant to his boss in 2011.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So, I mean, I can't say that... I can't say that I was ever like a struggling realtor out of the gate.
Yeah.
Because he had a built-up clientele, and I just jumped on and was working with him hand in hand, just doing stuff with him.
Yeah.
And then I got my own clients.
Right.
But coming right out of the gate, we were a team without being labeled a team.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, that's exactly how I'd probably do it too if I was in that position.
Yeah.
Like having that experience around is, more or less like it can be a really good thing or a really bad thing. Did it seem like some of the clientele that maybe he brought over to you when you first started, did like a lot of people leave because they were no longer doing business with him and they were, no?
No, he has very loyal clients.
Really?
Yeah. To this day, we still work with 90% of the clients that he started working with. He's Spanish speaking.
Oh,
so
I see.
literally half of my clientele is Spanish speaking.
Right.
So then I added again, he's 80.
Yeah.
He doesn't like the technology. I've kept up on the technology. I think technology is key in this business. You have to.
Yeah.
He doesn't like any of it. He doesn't write contracts anymore. He doesn't like...
Yeah.
I just handle all of anything technology based, whether it be social media, contracts, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I just handle it. But it's funny how it's turned where I 100% depended on him when I first got in the business.
Yeah.
And one of my very first listings was the house I grew up in. So that was a little bit weird. Yeah.
That is weird. Yeah. Like, what are the odds of that?
I know. I just saw it. I don't even remember exactly how it came about, but it was like I had the opportunity to go and interview with these people. Yeah. And got the listing. And so that was the very first, I want to say maybe I was a year into the business. Yeah. And I got that listing. It was like, oh, this is really weird. Because it was completely different from the house I grew up in. Oh, I shouldn't say completely different. Like, it was like, the paint was different. Like, there was one wall that was blood red. My mom was so opposed to blood red. Like, she hates the color red. Yeah. Especially in a room. But yeah, so it was a little weird that way. But that was the first thing that I brought to the table myself. I want to say it was about a year in. So I depended on his clients for the first year, easy. Yeah. But now it's cool because, as the years have gone on, it's a mix. And now I'm more the heavy with more clients than what he has. But yeah, we still have clients from way back.
That's crazy. So do you see yourself maybe, doing this for the rest of your career? Do you see a career switch? Or what's your retiring plans if you do stick with being a real estate?
So I'll probably work until I have one foot in the grave, I'm sure.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be the same way. I don't know why. I just don't want to be doing nothing.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I am not good at doing nothing. Yeah. When I want to, great. Yeah. But if I have to do nothing, I'm not good at it. Yeah. Anytime I've had to recover from surgery or, you have to be... I had knee surgery a few years ago, and it was like, you are going to be on crutches for 6 weeks, non-weight bearing, period. Yeah. The first 2 weeks, you're going to be in bed. And I'm like, all right, got it.
Yeah, that sucks.
Day 2, I was like, oh, this sucks. I hate this. So I'm not good at doing nothing. I always have to be doing something busy, whether, no matter what it is. Yeah. Real estate gives you the opportunity to do that. I don't want to be in real estate so long that my competitors are like, oh my God, she needs to retire.
Yeah. Like, oh, that Sheri lady, she's been in...
I'm sure there's some that say that right now. Oh my God, there she is. Yeah. But, I mean, it's something that you can actually do. Yeah. I mean, I do it full time. This is my livelihood. I don't have any other job. Right. I will be doing this for a while. Yeah. I really do love my job. Yeah. There's days that it's very challenging.
Yeah, but it's a kick-ass job. It
Yeah.
seems like, especially if you have like the loyal people that you say you do,
Yeah.
and you have fun people to work with. It's just kind of just like a unit.
Yeah,
you know,
and it's so
like a
cool to
bond.
be able to take somebody into a house and they're like, I'm working with these clients right now that have never owned a house themselves.
Yeah.
They're probably, I want to say maybe mid-30s.
Right.
And they're moving over here from Boulder. They just got relocated and they have jobs at St. Mary's.
Yeah.
And they're like, we've never done this before. So this is the first house that they've been able to buy. And there's something that's so cool about helping a family achieve the American dream.
Yeah, that is true.
It's very cool. So there are some people that are like, oh yeah, I sold, X amount of houses last year.
Yeah.
I base it on, I helped this many families last year.
Yeah.
I feel that feels to me way more personal and way more
Yeah.
like gratifying.
Yeah, like you can still be humble, yet you can help people out, which is like a cool thing to kind of think about instead of like making it all about yourself or like all about competition or whatever it may be.
I don't see myself switching careers.
Yeah.
At all. I've said, and I've even said this recently, I have been self-employed way too long. I'm a horrible employee.
Yeah.
I don't want to be told you have to be there at 8, you're going to leave at 5, you're going to work the whole time.
Yeah.
I might roll in at 8, and I might work till 8.
Yeah.
Or I might roll in at 11 and be done by 3.
Mm-hmm.
But I probably work harder for myself than I ever would for anybody else.
That's how I've always been too. Like it just seems like, I have my like 8 to 5 job, but I'm just like, gosh, I need to find, something that I can do.
Yeah.
And so like most of the time it's like I really wanted to find something that's like I want to do outside of work.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't mind not getting paid to do it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I have those little hobbies and stuff too.
And like you have to have that. It's kind of like the yin to your yang type of thing. I think everybody has like that creative side of their brain too.
Yes.
So like you have to be able to, I guess, justify where that is with yourself personally, and then be able to cross that line.
Yep.
Maybe when you're not working or whatever it may be.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you've got to be able to have something that makes you decompress.
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever that is. I mean, I've got plenty of hobbies that I can go home and just be like, okay, this is a really bad day.
For throwing on Netflix.
Like, something.
Having a drink.
Like, yeah.
All right, so this is kind of getting into the more of the fun stuff here. So I have realized that it seems like every realtor in their picture, they always have their arms crossed.
So we just took new headshots. I know.
Yes, do you think that's like gosh, I don't even know what the term would be for it. Do you think that's like a move that maybe they have to do it to look more like, I can sell your house, like I'm a boss. I'm a boss,
So we just took new headshots in December.
Yeah.
Our whole office did. So as the photographer was saying, she's like, okay, do this and do this and do this and do this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so stiff when I do this. It just feels so unnatural.
Awkward.
Then I got my proofs back and was like, oh wow, that was the best picture.
Yeah.
That's nothing I would have done normally.
Right.
But this looked very very awkward, and this looked, I just felt like I was just like, exactly.
You felt like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like you're just out there in the grass.
It's
and you're
weird.
Just, like, posing.
So back in the day though, when I first got, and I say back in the day like it was so long ago, but when I first got licensed, it was a thing that a lot of females would do glamour shots. And they had like the whole...
What's a glamour?
Like remember out in the mall? Oh no, you probably were, you were way too young this, but they had like glamour shot studios where you would go and you would pose, and it was like, and you'd have like feathered boas and stuff.
You have like the whole vibe.
Oh yeah, the whole
action.
vibe, like the whole vibe. And so I was like, when I got into real estate, my first headshot was sitting in a chair in my office, and I was like, it wasn't even professional. It was somebody just like, chick.
Right.
And I was like, that's perfect. That's natural. So I swore from then on out, I was like, I will always look like the picture.
Yeah.
Like when on my business card, when I walk into a closing room, they're going to be like, oh yeah, that's Sheri.
Yeah.
So my last headshot was about 10 years old. So I was kind of pushing the envelope at that point.
Right.
Until I got this one recently. But I've never had one that hasn't been, I've had professional shots.
Yeah.
They've all looked very natural.
Right.
Nothing like, no feather boas, no. But there were literally on business cards, feather boas and...
Yeah, some like Victoria's Secret type of shit. You're like, wait, what's going on? Is she trying to sell me a house?
I know.
Or what's going on?
What are we selling
What
here?
are we selling here? Yeah.
Exactly.
That's hilarious.
Exactly. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the arms crossed is. I don't know if it's like a,
I don't know either.
boss move or I don't know, but it worked with my headshot.
Because I mean, you got to think about all the industries out there, and I mean, sometimes I see the realtor like arms crossed in like different industries. I'm like, you could be a good realtor, just off of the way they're like crossed up. They're like, you know what I mean?
Well, and some of them are so serious. They're just like...
Yeah, and they're like an accountant,
Just like resting bitch face. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, I don't want my realtor to be resting bitch face. No. I need
hilarious.
to smile. I need to see some teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes to like your, I guess your time off, or like if you were to throw maybe a party or like, have people over or whatever, this is the best question that I think fits you. Do you have a problem with uninvited guests to parties that you put on?
Yes.
Or like, yes, you do.
Absolutely.
But flipped, do you have a problem like crashing a wedding or crashing somebody else's party?
That's bad because no, I probably wouldn't.
You don't, when
Well, no, I guess it depends on how much I drink.
Yeah.
Because if I mean, it would depend. Like if I was in that, drank too much, I'd be like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
But no, but let me back up because uninvited guests, if I don't know you, yes.
Yeah.
I'm
weird.
I'm not a fan of people showing up that I absolutely don't know.
Yeah.
Although, so for instance, I had one of my best friend's birthdays this summer.
Right.
So we had a party at the house. Well, there were people showing up that she knew that I didn't know. And I mean, they were fantastic. So I guess I kind of expected that. Like I expected for some people to, because I mean, her niece came to me and was like, "Hey, so and so's coming. Do you care?"
Yeah.
No. But if it's somebody that's just showing up to my house, because I don't have people at my house a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I'm weird. Like I don't like people that I don't know knowing where I live.
Yeah. No, 100%. I'd rather just go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Or just meet them at.
I can meet strangers everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't like strangers knowing where I live.
Yeah.
If you know where I live, it's because I trust you, and I'm okay with that.
Right.
But, so yeah, the uninvited guests, if I know you, I'm okay with it. If I don't, I might be a little bit cautious and be like, who are you and who do you know here? And if you don't know anybody here, then you need to go.
Yeah, like I don't even know where you live, so maybe like you're just...
Oh, see, your brother came over one time.
Maybe I'm on the cautious list.
With your sister. I don't know.
So I'm on the cautious list.
We'll see. Maybe you'll make the list and you'll make the cut next time.
That's hilarious.